Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're starting a new unit today on motivation. By the way, there was a problem with the Hangout, so I'm starting this class again. I started it before, but I think you couldn't see me. So now, I think you can. I apologize for the wait, but it was some technical problem. So, we're going to get started. First, a little bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune to the new words you're learning when you are speaking so I can correct you and give you feedback. And last but not least, open up and relax. Open up to your classmates, relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So, again, I apologize everyone because there was a technical problem with the Verbling Hangout. 1 second, let me get my name on the right side. There we go. There was a technical problem, so you probably couldn't enter before, but I think it looks like it's working now. What I'm going to do is give you our new presentation. So, presentation there in the chat window. If we take notes, it'll be in the second document, which you can see there. Okay, you can go ahead and open those if you like, or just follow along on screen. And now let me open my presentation on my side so that I can see everyone. Give me just a second to open our presentation for today. Oh, and one last thing I was going to say. Where is it? Oops. No, I have to download it. Looks like it didn't download. So let me open the presentation and download it on my side. We're probably going to be reviewing the last activity we did on Thursday before we had a little break. We didn't complete the activity 100%, so we'll probably be doing that at the end of class today. Okay? All right, I got it open. Let me download it on my side. And as soon as I get it downloaded, I'm going to share my screen with you. 1 second here. Okay, and we're going to start by, as we often do, we're going to start by just looking at the picture. And we've got a technique for describing pictures. But our real goal is not just to describe the picture, but to try to start to talk about the theme of motivation. So I'm going to open this now and share my screen. Let's see if I got it working. Yes, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, we got more people now. Welcome back, Yuki, Giuseppe, Jason, Ishmael. Welcome back, everyone. And Nora as well. And Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed. I don't think we've met. I can't remember. Actually, I kind of remember your picture. Say a quick hello, Mohammed.
Oh, teacher. I think this is the first time I joined to your class.
Ah, okay. Because I thought I recognized your picture. I wasn't sure. Where are you from, Mohammed?
I'm from Yemen.
From where?
Yemen.
From Yemen. Okay, nice
Yes.
to have you. Very good.
Thank
And
you.
let's say a quick hello to Lucia. Lucia, is that right?
Hi. Yes, but you can call me Lucy.
Hello, Lucy. Where are you from?
Croatia.
From Croatia. Fantastic. Okay. Because if I know where you're from, then I'll remember you next time. Don't ask
Okay.
me why. I don't know why, but that's how it works. Take a look at this. Our new unit is all about motivation. In the previous units, we've started off by describing the picture and trying to find the connection to the theme, motivation, or whatever the theme happened to be. So we're going to start in the same way. Keep in mind, we've talked about a technique, a simple way to describe a picture the same technique we're using in the speaking skills class on Wednesday. The same technique. 4 basic steps. Say what you see. Speculate about why you're seeing it. Guess why it relates to the theme. Compare and contrast it to something you're familiar with. And then offer a personal preference. Why those steps? Well, you don't have to use those steps. You don't have to do them all. But it gives you a way to structure your ideas. Let me give you an example. If I was looking at this picture, I would say this. I'm only going to say one detail that I see, just one. I see a lot of space in this picture. I don't know where it is, but a lot of wide open space. Step 2, speculate about why. It kind of brings to mind like a Zen rock garden or something where, you know, the lack of things is just as important as the presence of things. And I think that one thing that really motivates us is having a clear horizon. I remember one productivity guru, his name is David Allen, famous productivity guy, talks about having a clear horizon, meaning that you know exactly what's coming up, and that's what stops you from being stressed. Okay, now on to step 3, compare and contrast. Well, I'm going to talk about motivation. I'm not going to talk about the physical place in the picture now. I'd prefer to keep my horizons clear by using some kind of productivity technique. For example, I write everything down in a software. I use Evernote, but it could be any software, so that no matter where I am, when something comes up, I know exactly where it is, and therefore my horizon is really clear. I just open the software. Step 4 is to give a personal preference. Well, actually, I just did step 4. I did step 3 and 4 together. That's what I prefer to do to stay motivated, because if I'm stressed, I won't be motivated. I'll lose my motivation if I'm feeling stressed out. So keeping a clear horizon is a way to do it. So that's a quick example of going through, well, at least 3 of the 4 steps. I said one thing. There's a lot of space. I can see a clear horizon. Then I speculated about why that picture is meant to represent motivation. If you can keep your agenda clear, it doesn't mean that you have nothing to do. It just means that you know what you have to do. You can see the horizon line. It's not cluttered with lots of things that you don't know where they fit or when they're coming up. Then you won't be stressed and you won't be demotivated. Then step 3, compare and contrast to something familiar. It reminds me of a famous productivity technique by a guy named David Allen called Getting Things Done. A lot of people have read his book. It's very popular, and it really works. I found it very helpful. As long as you don't overdo it, it's kind of a guideline. Then I gave a personal preference in step 4. I prefer to use a software so that whenever something comes up, it's written down, and no matter where I am, I can see it, whether it's on my phone, my computer. There's even a way to write it on paper and have it quickly digitized into Evernote. There's an app for that as well. So I can see my schedule and see it change no matter where I am. So that's one way I help to stay motivated by not being demotivated. And I'd be demotivated if I didn't know how to handle my schedule. Okay, so that's an example of what you can do just by looking at a picture if you follow the steps. I'm going to open our notes document and I'm going to start the vocabulary. Let me ask you quickly, did you learn any new vocabulary from that little example I just gave you? What are some key words that we can use to talk about motivation right now, just from the beginning of that little example that I gave you right now?
Demotivate.
Absolutely. Demotivation is a key word. That's one I was thinking of. So you got motivation, demotivation. Any related words that we might want to keep in mind? What demotivated me personally?
Your class motivated me to
Overstress,
improve my English.
I hope it motivates you. Sorry, Ishmael, what were you saying?
overstress demotivates you, Jon-Eric.
I didn't hear the first part, sorry. What demotivates?
Overstress.
Stress, that's it, yeah. So if you look on page 5 of our notes, which is the second link, you'll notice vocabulary. I'm going to start to add the vocabulary words. Demotivation, or to demotivate. Stress. Wow, demotivation is not, I'm going to put demotivate. It just doesn't appear. Google doesn't recognize it as a word. Strange. It absolutely is a word. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just demotivate. Yeah, I'll just put it like that. Demotivate. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We'd say motivation. We wouldn't say demotivation. So yeah, to demotivate, or a lack of motivation is probably what we would say. Stress, clear horizon, meaning your agenda or tasks are well defined. When I say well defined, I mean you know what they are and you know when you have to do them. Okay, so those are 3 good key vocabulary words we came up with already just from looking at a picture. Okay, I want to turn this over to you so that you can have a chance as well. Okay, and Abraham, if you're just joining us, we're looking at the picture and trying to figure out how it relates to the theme of motivation, just so you know what we're doing. Where are you from, Abraham, by the way? Ibrahim, I'm sorry, not Abraham, Ibrahim. Uh-oh. Ibrahim, you have a connection problem. We can't hear you. We just hear a lot of noise. So see if you can work on your microphone, or if you need to, you can rejoin the class, leave and come back and see if it improves. But we can't hear you at all, actually. Okay, I'm going to give you a chance. Maybe we can have 2 or 3 people try this. To make this work, I want you to say one and only one detail about the picture. Otherwise, it'll go on for too long. Okay? And one more thing I want to say, and I'll stop talking. If you want a review of how exactly you should use this technique that I'm mentioning, there's 4 steps. I'm going to share my screen just a second here so you can see it. Don't forget, any kind of techniques or connectors we come up with, right? Just go to our notes. On page 4, you'll see Jump to Topic. There you'll see how to describe a picture or photo. So if you click on that, it takes you to page 6, and you'll see the 4 steps right in front of you with a few connectors. There are many more connectors we can use. A connector is I suppose, I'd prefer, however, to begin with. Let me start by saying all of these are connectors. I've given you just a few, but you've got the steps there that you can use. Okay? So for today, you can use what's there, or you can add connectors of your own. But let's try to use that specific structure to help you describe the photo. Remember, that's on page 6 of our notes, and I'm going to put our picture back on screen. Okay? So remember, just go to the second document if you want to see that. Okay, there we go. Let's go from left to right. Okay? Giuseppe, why don't you try? Tell me one thing that you see. Guess about why you're seeing it, what it's got to do with motivation. Try to compare and contrast it to something you know, and then offer a preference between the 2 things. Give it a try, Giuseppe.
Okay, there most likely is a resort holidays.
Good. That was step 1. Good.
And step 2 is And I suppose people go over there to chill out, to chill themselves out.
To chill out. Okay, good. Now you remember you've got to connect this to motivation now. That's good. Good start. This appears to be some kind of resort. I suppose people would go there to kind of chill out after working all year long, perhaps, or whatever. Now connect that to motivation. How does that relate to motivation, Giuseppe?
Well, I guess,
You might want to say conditional. If you don't chill out once in a while, what happens?
well, being in a place like that could be useful for regenerate your motivation.
For instead of regenerating, let's say refreshing.
Refreshing.
Okay.
Refreshing your ideas, your creativity.
Yeah, that's it. Refreshing. Not regenerating. Regenerating means you grow a new arm. So don't regenerate, refresh.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
We're on to step 3. Compare and contrast it with something that you know.
Okay, this place looks very familiar for me because I guess it's located somewhere in Asia or in a paradise, something related to the beach or the resort holidays that you can find in Bahamas or Maldives.
Maldives, we say. Maldives in English. Right.
Maldives.
Okay.
Whereas I prefer the European beach.
Okay, good. But one thing, Giuseppe, don't lose the theme of motivation. So when you're comparing and contrasting, it might be better to talk about where you like to chill out as opposed to, you see what I'm saying? It's no problem to mention beaches and the Maldives or whatever. You've got to keep it connected to motivation. So just to review, you said this appears to be a resort. I suppose, or I'd imagine, this is a place where people would go to chill out, maybe during vacation or to take a break from work. Now, when you're comparing and contrasting, talk about maybe different places that people can go to chill out, and then offer a personal preference at the very end, like you said, with European beaches. If you're going to mention European beaches, you got to tell me why that's a better place to chill out for you personally. See what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah?
I should have started by saying that that sort of a place is very interesting.
Good.
Even though it's kind of expensive to be over there, and that makes me disappointed about it. Whereas I'd rather to go.
Keep going out.
Whereas I'd rather go to a place that is familiar for me, such as like Costa Brava in Spain.
Fantastic. Why is that? What's special about it?
Because it feels me happy. It makes me happy being over there.
Okay, good. So it's a place you like personally.
Yes.
Okay, very good. That's it. Okay, maybe we have time to do 1 or 2 more. So whoever would like to go to give it a try, just let me know. Because I think if we go down the line, we're going to spend the whole class. So I'd like maybe 2 more people. We probably have time to do 2 more. Who'd like to give it a shot? Who'd like to try?
I'd like to try.
Go for it.
Well, well, as far as what as far as what there is connection, what in the photo, the connection go connection with more motivation.
Good. It's fine. Look, say it like this. You could say, as far as motivation goes, or as far as what in the picture connects to motivation goes. You can say both.
As far as what in the picture, the connection
Connects to motivation.
That connects to motivation goes.
Good.
I should start by saying the scene in the film of Shining. In this film, protagonist of this film always typing the phrase or the play. All work and no play makes Jaro a dull boy, and after that he was getting crazy.
He went crazy. He went crazy.
So I'd like to say that you have to relax sometimes. All time working hard just spoil your mental condition. So sometimes you have to go to resort and sitting in such a cozy room, living in such a cozy room, maybe sitting in the table, Japanese oriented, maybe not real Japanese, maybe Japanese like very oriental, very exotic oriented interior. Seeing a beautiful view of ocean, that help you work again. That help you.
I would say that would help you.
That would help you. That would help you raise your motivation, and beautiful view, ocean view, soothes you.
Would soothe you.
Would soothe you.
Absolutely. Use the conditionals here to speculate about the present. It would help you. It would soothe you. That's it.
That would be nice.
Okay, very good. So that's got nothing directly to do with the picture until the ending, because I don't see Jack Nicholson here, but but this probably is a resort. That's true. Maybe we have time to do one more. One more? Anyone?
Can I go?
You absolutely can. Don't forget, Lucy, if you want to follow the steps, you can go to page 6 of our notes, and we've got some examples there of words you can use, some connector words. Okay?
Okay.
Give it a shot.
So it seems to me that it is some kind of a terrace, which gives you an endless horizon of view.
Good.
And
There's some kind of a touristic place. Is that it? Good.
Yes.
Good. With an endless view, endless horizon. Good.
And I suppose this could and we see a cloud there in the remote cloud, so I suppose this could represent some goal people set to themselves.
Very good.
They're trying to reach it.
Some far-off goal. Is that it?
Yes.
Some far-off goal. Very good. Good speculation. Keep going.
And they're
Can you compare and contrast it with the far-off goal that you've had, or how it relates to something you've done? Because if you can personalize this, it'll sound perfect.
I'm playing basketball for 12 years, and I've had so much obstacles on my way, and
so many obstacles.
Many obstacles on my way, and it seems to me that I'm the closest to reaching my dream than I've ever been.
Fantastic. And last step here is offering a personal preference. If you can think of a way to help you with your motivation, if you have a personal preference of what helps you reach your far-off goal, it would be a perfect way to end it. So what's kept you motivated all this time, over 12 years? What's kept you motivated?
To never give up, so I can relate that with this picture in the way that people see that cloud as their goal and they have to swim all the way to it, so the sea is kind of an obstacle here in this picture.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So if we were going to summarize that, Lucy, probably
Okay.
say something like this. Well, this appears to be a kind of touristic place, but you can see a cloud way off in the horizon. Listen to the expression I'm using, way off in the horizon. I suppose that cloud kind of represents someone's far-off goals or long-term goals. You know, it's almost like your dreams are like just an illusion, a cloud in the sky. Um, I have some far-off goals myself. I've been playing basketball for 12 years, and I've had to keep myself motivated on my long-term goal over that time. What I've learned to do, what I prefer to do, is stay motivated, but not giving up and realizing that you've got to swim through the ocean to reach the clouds. I'm trying to remember what you said.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But the good thing is you've got all the steps there and you've got all the connectors. It seems to me that this is, I suppose, I'd imagine. Now with comparing and contrasting, I didn't use a connector there, but that's okay because it sounded good. And I'd prefer to stay motivated at the end. I'd prefer to stay motivated by not giving up, by enduring. Just the way, like, you know, you've got a long-distance swimmer swimming across the English Channel or something like that, right? You've got to endure the ocean. Okay, sounds great. Okay, anyone else before we move on? Anyone else want to give it a shot? Or shall we move on? Going once? Going twice? Okay, we're going to move on. So look, in this unit, as you can see, we'll be talking about motivation at work. We'll be talking about, not talking about, we'll be doing small talk. So when you're talking about motivation, you tend to be talking about how you feel at work. That usually occurs over coffee more than when you're sitting at your desk talking to your boss. So small talk is another aspect of this that we'll be bringing up. Specifically, exiting a conversation. Small talk happens over coffee in the, in the staff room, so you often have to make an exit to get back to work. We'll talk about how to do that politely. Finally, we'll revise using different kinds of question forms because when you're talking about motivation, when you're having small talk, there's different ways you might ask a question, some not the normal basic ones for information. So we'll be revising those forms later on through the unit. These classes tend to run about 8 classes per unit. This is class number 1, so that will be towards the end around class number 6. Today, we're going to begin with our starting point, talking about motivation at work. Okay, so that's our class today. We've already done a little bit of that. We're going to start by talking about some of these points. Which of these things motivate you in your job? What I'd like you to do is to try to put them into some kind of order. If you can't put them all in order, no problem. Try to pick out 3. The most motivating thing, the least motivating thing, and something more or less in the middle. And what I want you to do is to describe it back to me using some good connector words that show the most and the least. Let me give an example. I'm just going to randomly pick 2 as most and least. These are not true. I'm just going to pick them. Let's say promotion is the most and training is the least. Let's imagine. I might say something like this. Well, as far as motivation goes, I think that being in a job that doesn't have promotions is highly demotivating. So I think that the ability to move up the ladder is one of the most important things that you can have in a job. Whereas training is not necessary on the job as much as before the job. If you know what you're doing, I think you'll learn as much by doing it than by training. So while it's good, it's not as essential as promotion is. And that's a bit about what I think about motivation. Okay? Now that's not true. That's not really what I think. But I want to give it to you as an example. Notice the contrast word, whereas. So I contrasted the most and the least. All right? So I want to give you a chance. Oh, we lost Mohammed. I was just about to call on you, Mohammed, and you disappeared. I want to give you a chance. Think about the most, the least, and the middle one for what motivates you in your job. And maybe Ishmael, we can have you start off. Do you have an opinion already?
Yes, Jon-Eric.
Go for it. You can start with the sentence, as far as what motivates me goes. That's the one that Yuki was using earlier, and it's a great way to start a conversation because you're taking the question and you're rephrasing it into an introduction. The question is, which of these things motivates you in your job? You rephrase it by saying, as far as what motivates me in my job goes, or as far as what motivates me goes. So take it from there, Ishmael.
As far as
what motivates me?
As far as what motivates me
goes
in my job goes.
Good.
And then?
And then start with the most. Start with the most or start with the least. It doesn't matter.
Money motivates me the most.
Because?
Because when I look at the other motivation parameters, I can figure out many of them with the money.
So they're all connected to money in some way. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
I see.
If I earn a lot of money, for example, I can get some private training for myself.
Absolutely.
Or I can buy some gift for achieving my targets.
Okay, good. So you should say for instance when you're speaking rather than for example. For example sounds a little bit too formal. I'd say for instance. For instance, if I have a high enough salary, I can get my own training if I feel I need it. Or I could get a gift. I could give a gift to myself. I don't need to work for a gift. So the most important thing is really my remuneration for work. By the way, those are all good vocabulary words for motivation too. We can talk about a high salary. We can talk about remuneration. We can talk about compensation. These are all ways to talk about salary. You'll see all of this on page 5, by the way, if you're following along in the notes document. Okay, I think that's it. So high salary, remuneration, compensation. Other ways to say money, in other words. Fantastic. Okay, Ahmed, what do you think? Out of this list, you can start by rephrasing the question as far as what motivates me or as far as what motivates us, if you want to speak in general, as far as what motivates me goes. I would like you to contrast the most and the least, if you could, in your personal opinion.
As far as motivation goes,
right?
The most.
I'd say the most.
I'd say the most. Think that motivates.
The most motivating thing.
The most motivating thing is colleagues.
Ah, okay, interesting. Why?
Well, I don't know, but
You wouldn't want to work alone, right?
yeah, definitely. Colleagues, I mean, the more.
What kind of colleagues?
What kind of colleagues? Caring? I don't know. Is it appropriate to say caring?
Sure, why not?
Friendly?
Yeah. Caring colleagues, friendly colleagues, supportive is a better business word. Supportive colleagues. Uh-huh.
Okay. Make the work environment more interesting.
Fantastic. Go back to the beginning, start over, say that concisely. The ideas are there, but I want to hear, I don't want to hear a conditional when you give an opinion, and I want to hear what kind of colleagues they are, right? Those are the corrections I made.
Okay.
So start from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. As far as motivation goes, I'd say the most motivative thing is friendly, caring, supportive colleagues. Because they make the work environment more interesting.
Fantastic. Whereas, can you pick a second one that is not important to you or less important? Whereas,
money,
right,
is the least motivative thing.
Right. And if you don't want to say thing, you can say factor or aspect of the job. There are other ways to say it. Whereas money is the least motivating factor here. Because
it
I mean, compared to colleagues, it's less motivating than colleagues because
it doesn't make the work more interesting.
Okay. So the most important thing is feeling good where you work, and no matter how much you get paid, if you hate the people you work with, absolutely, I can relate to that myself. Let me give Nora a chance to speak because we haven't heard from you so far. Okay, Nora, you can pick up on what Ahmed said. You can agree or disagree with him, or you can compare 2 points of your own. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ahmed because as far as what motivates me in the job goes, I think colleagues and interesting work comes on the top of the list. Because once I like my job and I find it interesting, the more I will give in the job and the more I will be motivated to go to it every day.
So let me just rephrase that. Listen, the more I like my job, etc., the more motivated I will be. You have to say the more twice.
Okay. So yeah, the more I like my job, the more motivated I will be. And whereas I think job security is the least because it doesn't matter if the job is boring or not interesting, or if I don't benefit from it, that it will last.
Interesting. I think that's because you don't live in a country where I live. Job security is really important because there are no jobs.
Yeah, it's important, but I think the other things are more motivating.
Sure, absolutely.
The money. If I get a job with a very, very low salary, so I think I don't think it matters, the security. If it's bad job with low salary, with bad colleagues.
What if it's a great job? What if it's a great job with no security? what if it's a fantastic job that pays well, but you don't know if it's going to last from one day to the next? You know, we see that, like, you know, if you're an actor or whatever, you never know. You're only as good as your last performance. So what if there's
Yeah.
no job security?
Yeah, I know it's very important to make you relax, to make you relieved. But I think the other factors are more important. If I get the other factors, then I will care about the job security, I guess.
Absolutely. Um, let me ask you, Lucy, would you add anything to the list that we have here? Do you think there are any other factors we haven't considered so far?
Mm, I think maybe a work strategy.
Work strategy. Okay, that's interesting. Can you give an example? What do you mean by work strategy?
I don't know if you work in a factory.
Mm-hmm.
You and your colleagues have to agree on what everybody's doing. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, so there won't be any conflicts, you know?
So you're talking about the organization of the work
Yes,
itself, right?
yes,
How organized it is.
yes.
That is very important for motivation. If it's disorganized, it's very hard to be motivated because it's not going to be productive.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
All right. And Giuseppe, what do you think? Would you add anything else besides organization?
Incentive.
Incentives. What a great vocabulary word. Incentive. Tell me about incentives. What sort of incentives are there? What are our choices?
Pay a rise.
Pay rise?
Ticket restaurants, like such ticket to buy food when you're in a workplace.
So is that like a kind of a bonus, or is that like a kind of a subsidy? What do you mean?
It's kind of a
Like you have a kind of a meal plan that's built into your contract. Is that what you mean, or do you mean?
well, it's and how can I say? It's like a bonus. So you have just an amount of money you have this ticket, and you can buy food.
They're called vouchers, by the way. Vouchers.
Yeah, vouchers.
Careful, not vultures. Vultures are birds of prey. Vouchers are tickets you can use for. So, okay, that's a good point. Incentives are really what we're going to be talking about over the next few classes. Different kinds of incentives. Not just incentives, but to incentivate. To incentivate people. That means to motivate them, to motivate, incentivate. I never remember if it's incentivate or if it's incentivize. I think it's incentivate. In other words, actively, proactively motivating people. Yuki, what do you think would be an incentive that would attract you to a particular job? He mentioned pay raises or pay rises. In British English, pay rise, American English, pay raise. But a raise, vouchers, what kind of incentives would attract you to a job?
Of course, money is needed for us to live, but for me, but money is not the first reason to select a job for me. And unfortunately, I haven't find a good option in this list to motivate me in my job. Maybe.
So what's missing?
Maybe some kind of conscious of contributing to society, or someone would motivate me more to get into the job. Maybe just one word of thank you from our from my client or student mm, would raise motivation of me and give me a courage to work more, continue the work.
Positive feedback, in other words.
Yes, positive feedback would help me to motivate more.
That's, yeah. Well, we're both teachers, so I understand how that works. And not just from the students too. If you're working from a boss who does nothing but criticize you, of course no one likes it. But when you're in one of these jobs, like a teacher position, you really have to be in a good mood. You have to be,
Yes.
you've got to be friendly. And I can tell you from experience, I work with bosses who do not care, do not understand. They think about themselves. The problem there is that it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot, because if they demotivate the teachers go into class and they demotivate the students. It's just a natural thing. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Maybe I would say you more thank you to make you feel happy and raise the motivation.
You can't say thank you too much. If you say thank you too much, then we start to wonder,
I'm sorry that I rarely say you thank you.
Oh, John, you have made Yuki's day. It's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go into the rest of the unit today. I just wanted to start off with some vocabulary, and what I really would like to do, I'm looking at the time. I don't think we're going to have time to do the follow-up activity from the last class. So what I'd like to do is just have you talk a little bit for the last 10 minutes or so about your experiences at work with motivation. I'd like you to take a look at the vocabulary we have so far, which is on page 5, to demotivate, to motivate and demotivate, to stress. Giuseppe used the word chill out, which is good. Chill out and relax. To have a clear horizon, to refresh. Then other ways to talk about money is salary, like a high salary, remuneration, compensation. We can talk about factors and aspects of motivation. 2 good words there instead of saying things. We talked about, Lucy talked about a work strategy, meaning the organization of the job itself, or we could say job. And Yuki's talking about social incentives. That could mean positive feedback, getting positive feedback, and also making a social contribution. Like, I feel the same way about that, because I've had jobs, and I won't name any names, but I'll just say I have a job now where I'm supposed to be screaming at people if they don't do what they're supposed to do. Nothing demotivates me more. It shows me, if I hear teachers screaming at students, especially kids, there's one thing about disciplining. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you have to raise your voice, it shows you that you don't have the tools to handle people. So that's why, to me, that's very demotivating. And I've been in jobs where I've been told to raise my voice if necessary, and I think there's got to be a better way. And in fact, for me, the best way is to keep them very busy and be very dynamic with the class so that they don't have time to get off task. But that's an example of what demotivates me, having to be a disciplinarian. That really bothers me. I want people to feel free and relaxed, and especially if they're kids. Here we're all adults, so it's a bit different. I can scream at you. You can handle it, right?
No.
If I need to. I want you to talk about motivation and demotivation in your own work. Okay? Tell me what motivates you, or what would motivate you. Yuki talked about a social contribution. Go for it, Ishmael.
Jon-Eric, uncertainty at my workplace demotivates me a lot.
Answering what? I'm sorry?
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty, right, uncertainty.
Uncertainty. There are always a surprise. You cannot know. because there is no professional company policy
Right, right, right.
about the problems, and
So you can't be prepared for things in advance.
you can't be prepared, and you don't know how to behave in a surprise problem or event. Actually,
Absolutely, and that's one of the things we can say about motivation. If you're put in that position, if you're put in that position, it's you who looks bad, and often you're the face of the company. So there's only two reasons for people, for a superior to put you in that position. One, you're supposed to look bad, and hopefully they're not doing it on purpose. Or two, they don't have a system in place, and they're not thinking about how they come across. I had a job once where it was done. I feel it was done quite deliberately because they wanted the criticism to come off. They wanted the criticism to be focused on the staff, not the administration, right? So I completely agree with that. And how do you handle that? How do you stay motivated in that kind of situation?
it is actually very difficult because you have to solve the problem, but you don't have any initiative.
Right.
And when you don't solve the problem, for example, manager asks you why you don't do anything for this problem, but if I do something which they don't like, and then asking you why did you do for this problem, it is actually difficult, like walking in a mind zone.
In a minefield. Walking through a
Minefield.
minefield.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. I think we can all relate to that as well. Absolutely. And let me just ask Lucy, because you're new here. So what are you doing? Are you still in school because you're playing basketball, or are you working?
I just finished my high school.
Ah. How did you stay motivated for those 4 years?
Oh, hard. I don't know. I just when I reached the third grade of high school,
hmm
I just said to myself, "Oh my God, you have just one more year, and then you're finished, and you go to college."
So when you reach your junior year of junior year of high
Yes.
school, so that's the year before senior. The 4 years are called freshman, sophomore,
Sophomore.
junior, senior.
Yeah.
So when you reach your junior year, you said, "Hey, I just have one more year to go."
Yes.
So in other words, that's a good point. We call those milestones. Milestones. Do you know what that is?
No.
Milestone.
No.
Milestone is the marker on a highway that tells you how many miles you've driven on the highway, or how many miles you've traveled on a path. If you can see recognizable milestones, you know you're making progress, and making progress is something that really motivates us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that did the trick, and then you
What?
were able to make it. That did
Yes.
the trick. You were able to make it
Yes.
through.
Yes.
And Giuseppe, what about not having milestones? I wonder if when you get out to the profession, I want you to give some advice here to Lucy. She's just starting out in life. We don't always have those milestones when we get to work. So what would you advise her, just finishing high school now,
Well,
about staying motivated? About staying motivated. That's what we're talking about.
as far as my experience work, as far as my experience goes,
Right?
I suggest to her to take to make a good decision for her future. Choose the best opportunity about college, the best choice, who will give it to her the best, the more opportunity to get a better job, the job security as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there's you know, a lot of my students are either starting university, they're about to start college, university, or they're just finishing high school, and they don't really know what to do. But one thing is that you've got to give yourself choices. So you have to go to a place that will give you choices, and if you're choosing between, you have to decide whether you're going to go to a place that will motivate you personally, like a small university where you have more attention, or a big place that is name recognition, something like that. I chose the name recognition because I was kind of not forced, but encouraged to do that, and it was a good decision. But maybe it would have been better for me if I had, gone with my gut feeling, because I was not in a regular school. So when I went to college, it was a bit overwhelming for the first time. I wasn't in a regular high school. Um, I was in a kind of a boarding school, and it was a little hard to make the adjustment. So giving yourself choices is a good thing. Remember those far-off goals we talked about. Okay, final words on motivation. The final word goes to Ahmed today. Ahmed,
Yes.
final word on motivation in the workplace or entering the job force. Give us your wisdom before we go.
Oh, not wisdom really, but it is, yeah. Okay. Just keep happy. Every day, everywhere, you are getting better and better. So don't worry that much, really.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, be happy. That's it.
I've heard that before somewhere. I'm not sure where. Don't worry, be happy. I think it's a song. And you can be happy on Verbling. Look at my new shirt. Isn't that great?
Oh, wow.
It's only taken, 2 years, but I'm part of the team now. Be happy on Verbling. Be happy tomorrow at 10 a.m. for my great short stories class. And we are finishing the Cathedral tomorrow, right, Yuki? We're doing the last part of the Cathedral by Raymond
Yes.
Carver.
Yes. Not finishing, but not
Discussing.
yes.
That reminds me, I should send a link to everyone. I forgot to do it. I should send a link to everyone so they definitely read it before we start class. Tomorrow at 11 GMT, remember I'm in London time, so GMT, we'll have the next part of this. We're going to be starting our vocabulary section of this class, the working with words section. So I'll see you at the same hour tomorrow. Stay motivated until then, everyone. Bye for now. See you next time.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.